The search marketing world has been taken by storm as the 14,000 signals have been leaked for the ranking algorithm. This is huge news, and everyone should absolutely go check out Rand Fishkin, Mike King's, Lily Ray's coverage of this. Alita Solis also has some amazing coverage. We're all full of amazing coverage. But I actually wanted to give you a really hot tip around this. Pretty much everyone I mentioned has a path to the signals through an Excel document. If you upload that document into ChatGPT, you'll be able to ask ChatGPT some really great questions to help you parse that information because candidly, not everyone is going to be good at reading and ingesting 14,000 pieces of information and understanding exactly what it means right away. So I uploaded that information to ChatGPT and ended up with a good preview of it. So just want to show you the preview. Next, I asked it a few questions around what I thought were the most salient points around what PPCs could learn. CRO matters because if the user lands on the page and can't do the thing, you're going to lose. Next, to be careful how much you lean into video because you could end up triggering different algorithm rules. That was one of the great learnings from Mike King's post. And next was fonts do matter, and creating misleading experiences or ones that don't honor accessibility will hurt you. Next, to be on brand for yourself because eventually Google will get a sense of who you are and what you're good at. Google's organic quality score is still very much a thing, and being open on what's happening on the paid side is critical, i.e., on the paid side, we need to share that data. So I put this to ChatGPT and said, hey, listen, I just gave you all of that information. Can you spot check me and make sure that I'm thinking about this correctly? And so ChatGPT, being the amazing hero that it is, said, yeah, I agree. CRO is important based off of that information. Next, the agree with caution I thought was very interesting around video. So ironically, because I said be careful how much you lean into video, I wonder if that kind of inspired that caution. So that was just kind of interesting that ChatGPT agrees, but with caveats. So a really great it depends. GPT is learning it depends. Next, that fonts do matter. GPT agrees based off of the data. Be on brand for yourself. Again, agreeing that this goes into EEAT as opposed to EAT, so that's kind of incorrect. I didn't take the time to correct GPT, but that is just a useful thing to note. Next, organic quality score. Yes, it agrees. And then it gave a really interesting caveat that it reflects these broader principles, and if I have specific sections we could dive into. So then I asked it, did you find anything in the upload information that would make you doubt any of the 5 statements? And so I found several rows related to the 5 statements. Here's a summary. So the CRO and conversion, the data set does mention a concept like low quality scores and user engagement metrics, which align with the importance of CRO. So shout out to the CROs out there. Video content, there are multiple references to video and video count, indicating that video content is indeed a significant factor. The presence of terms like semantic annotation and format annotation suggest that how video content is used and presented can impact its evaluation by the Google's algorithm. Next, fonts and accessibility. Although the dataset doesn't explicitly mention fonts or accessibility, it does highlight the importance of user experience. Terms like low quality scores imply that any aspect that degrades user experience, such as poor readability and accessibility issues, could negatively affect reading. So this is one where even though we could read between the lines, we can't specifically say that fonts do matter. So it's interesting that GPT, without saying that it was incorrect before, kind of called itself out for being incorrect. So that's just kind of an interesting point there, that fonts and accessibility, it probably is a factor, but it's not specifically spelled out in the rankings. Next, with branding, the concept of semantic annotation and other related terms suggested that Google does attempt to understand the context and relevance of content, which aligns with the idea of maintaining a strong, consistent brand identity. An organic quality score, the mention of quality score directly supports the statement that Google's organic quality score is a crucial factor. The data includes metrics related to content quality and relevance, which are critical for both organic and paid search rankings. Finally, I asked it, hey, what else has to do with PPC? And it pulled in some information that was like sort of correct. I'm not going to read through it because I actually didn't agree with how it distinguished the question. It looked far more into AdSense and ads on pages and how those can impact your rankings versus actual PPC and structuring campaigns. But then there were other concepts further down that I thought were super interesting. The idea of page boosting, the ranking information, same thing with also affinity and value. The content classification ranking is actually super interesting because that relates very much into social and how people might comment on things or have high engagement there. Ironically, the things that we're maybe doing on the LinkedIn side and engage for comments and all that, it seems like that's just a common algorithmic learning that the more thing gets engaged with, the higher it'll rank. But this one in particular, the hot times and doc boosting, is actually the most important one to pull out, and it's ironically towards the end of this video. For a really long time, Google has really pushed the idea that you are not going to benefit from paying to send traffic to a place. However, this definitely represents a departure from that the idea that there are hot times and that they don't really distinguish between paid traffic and non-paid traffic. So you still need to make sure that your paid campaigns are on point and that you're using really good targeting and all that. But the idea that Google is going to just ignore paid traffic when considering your ranking is not entirely true. So this lends a whole lot more credibility to running an aggressive paid campaign alongside organic to supplement, but also where paid could potentially step in if you're struggling to pick up in the rankings to help give it that boost until you're able to get that organic engagement yourself. Now, I will point out that I was not sure what all of these meant because as much as I have SEO empathy, I'm not nearly the technical SEO I once was. So I just needed to give a shout out to GPT of how it explained this. Definitely give a read to all of the amazing content from Rand, from Mike, from Lily, from Maleda. Keep a lookout for more kind of my own thoughts on PPC and how this relates. But definitely want to share this with you and hope it is helpful. I'll link to the article that gives you access through an email form to the signals. And if you enjoyed this, give me a like, give me a follow, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye.